Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Wish you a happy and healthy start to your lovely little Sunday. No, not Sunday, Wednesday. That's right. Wednesday. Calendar says Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday. We got plenty to talk about here with Bitcoin traveling once again in the short and medium term timeframes. Still more or less the same range, although there can be a few changes made there. And actually today, a bit of a focus on altcoins as there's a lot of interesting things going on in that sector. Anyways, with that said, let's put the focus now on the Krown application, which can be found at app.krown.net. It's 100% free, and there is a link in the description below. Anyways, what do we see? We see Bitcoin dominance continues with the down right here. So altcoins on the whole versus their Bitcoin Satoshi pairing having a damn good day, or damn good last few weeks actually. Anyways, with that said, we've seen this come all the way down from, I mean, realistically, the mid 60s over the last couple months down to now a 50.5% base. So I would actually do a quick perusal of the Bitcoin dominance chart again today, as I do want to make sure that we're still looking for continuation there, as that has just been an absolutely massive catastrophic leg down. Anyways, fear and greed index still stuck at a 73. Bitcoin's been more or less sideways. The market seems to not give a fuck. And what do we see over here with the open interest? Still also within the same region as well. So Bitcoin's range correlated with the open interest range is pretty damn well set and documented here. We did see open interest come down a little bit as Bitcoin does essentially, I wouldn't say necessarily reject off the top side of the short-term resistance, but essentially just play range to range here. So we do still see that interplay in play, and that does still have the overall bullish bias with the current structure in mind, as long as that condition is met. What I'd be looking for to really get super bearish on this asset, or super bearish isn't the right term, because I wouldn't necessarily still be calling a MAC reversal for the 3 reasons that I listed in the last few videos. But more importantly, what I'd be looking at here is I'd be looking at an interplay between open interest and price action. If we see open interest shoot up, and when I say shoot up, I mean like preferably like $1 billion plus a breakage of the downside of our current range, that would be a damn good indication that Bitcoin is going to have one of those major pullbacks. In this case, you know, that could very easily mean a move to 45,000 bucks, maybe a couple bounces along the way, of course, but 45,000 bucks would certainly be a major target, and potentially even lower than that over time, as Bitcoin is in a bit of a precarious place right now as I search for my words. Over here on the top 10 best coins, top 10 worst coins, this is definitely old. That is certainly not true, Mr. PunDX, or at least I'd have to double check that one, but I'd imagine that the old right here suggests that that is not exactly what we're looking at right now. Horizon, PancakeSwap, Binance Coin, Engine Coin, Reserve Rights, all having major days. Even Monero, which I haven't seen Monero on this list in a very long time now, joining the overall party. And then we got some ones that I've never seen in my life. Bitcoin Standard Hash Rate Token. What the fuck is that? Doesn't matter. It's up 15.69%. Insane. Waves and Sidecoins, a couple 2017 shitcoins, definitely having their day in the sun for the last week and a half now. Actually, pretty much straight. It's been pretty nice for a lot of those 2017 altcoins, we'll say. On the top 10 worst coins, though, Dogecoin giving up a lot right there, as we do see a bit of a reversal. Perhaps it would be worthwhile to actually check out today. In fact, you know what? Maybe we even check that one out first today, because why the hell not? Anyways, into the market data tab we go. Is there anything of particular interest right here? Yeah, funny rates are going into the negative right now on a couple exchanges, FTX and OKX, for example, printing negative 0.34% right here. OKX just a fraction of a sliver right there. But everything else pretty much at parity, 0.01%, except for FEMEX, but I believe we have a bad read on that one as well. And most importantly with all of this, we've seen essentially a reset alongside Bitcoin coming down to hold what would be the median of the range on the higher term timeframes. Anyways, with that said, I think it's time to go into the price action charts themselves. Should we start off with Doggy today? I think it's a doggy day. Yes, let's go check out Dogecoin. Why the hell not, man? Why the hell not? It's been having a phenomenal run. It was up 150% in just one day, just a few days ago, which is rather impressive. And what are we seeing right now? Are we seeing a major top? No, I don't think so just yet. At least not just yet. A little bit of a short-term top, yes indeed. However, if we go down to the short-term timeframes, this would still be in the process of construction of their higher low, at least from what it looks like right here. Again, as long as it holds this last prior low right around 26.37 cents. So as long as that condition is met, I do still have to kind of favor the weekly, as the higher term timeframes are, well, more or less in trending mode right here. Now, how much do I trust tentacles on literally a pump and dump? Not a whole hell of a lot, but it is fun to look at nonetheless, and kind of a gauge of the market exuberance, if you will. No, just kidding. Doggy is a real Bitcoin, and we should all be in Doggy, right? Anyways, maybe that's true. Who knows? Anyways, okay, so what do I want to look at now? Right now, let's actually go over Bitcoin, get through that one, as that's going to be where most of the fun is being had right now. And of course, we can go back down to the same areas that we were looking at yesterday, right? On our, let me just make sure that I'm recording. I am recording. The microphone's working. This is good. We're off to a great start right now. was excellent on the first try too. Anyways, looking at the short-term time frame ranges and medium-term time frame ranges, still the same thing as yesterday, although we can make one very simple change. Or actually, let's go down to a 4 hour right here. It's going to be a little more obvious. There we go. Okay, so what did we say over the past couple days? Bitcoin first find the bottom side of the range. What happens if you find at the bottom side of the range? Typically, you're going to go find the top side of the range. Where is a nice obvious target? The 200 simple and 200 exponential average. Where does it top out at? Well, pretty much there. Then what happens after that? We just went and tested the resistance. Let's go test the support again. Oh, that's that. That was why we were looking for $54,000. And then same thing yesterday. We said, hey, this thing's probably not going to break the range today, but it likely does bounce here. And within the context of this current structure, we actually do have a lower high coming in right around that 21 exponential average right there on the 4 hour. And this was playing off of the bi-hourly regular bullish divergence, the phantom div right here, as I believe Mark B has coined it now. But overall, that condition was met. Obviously, we go test the top side of the range once again, lower high in this case. And now we can start to look at this as potentially even a descending triangle in the making right here. And that's what you would be looking at if you are bearish. And I would say, while this technically does have the etchings of that in place right now, volume signature on it would work out, structure would work on it, I would also at the same time be saying, hey, I really hesitate with these lower term timeframes looking at, a pattern like this, or any pattern for that matter, or anything that is contra to all of the medium and higher term timeframes, bar none. In this case right here, do I think that it could play out? Yes, it could play out, obviously. However, I would be having a very specific condition for it playing out, and I want to see it break the bottom side of the range. In this case, $54,000 on a 4 hour closure, or 53,500 on a 2 hour closure. If one of those conditions is met, yes, I would call this resolved. And in this case, I would be looking for a nice general move down to the next medium term area, which would be somewhere just below $50,000, actually right in here, which is actually correlated with our ranges from late February, actually 24th to the 7th of March. So I would like the confluence between these two levels right here. Very likely be looking for a bounce off this level, and then we'll come back to it after that. But for right now, perusing around the different sectors of the market in my early morning sort of woes there, I did kind of identify that a lot of coins are not necessarily looking like that. So I'm hesitant here to get bearish on Bitcoin, at least in its current posturing. Below here, yes, I can get bearish, and we're talking about a multi-$1,000 move at that point, $4,000 to $5,000, which is certainly nothing. And do I think that there could be more? Yes, I do think that there could be more, because there's some major setups on the jewel on all higher term timeframes. But as I always say, with the jewel, and if you have the jewel, this is really fucking important when you're trading counter trend, which you definitely are right here, looking for sells. I do not front run those signals or get aggressive with those signals until we actually see a breakage of structure. And where would your breakage of structure be? Actually, you could use what we just spoke about in the medium and lower term timeframes right there. Now, the daily actually doesn't really have a signal, or at least a signal that I did have was from the 16th of April, and that has mostly played out. I'd say 64,000 or 63,500 all the way down to $51,000. Yeah, it's not always going to be that good, but in that case, pretty fucking nice. Same thing on the buy daily too, and same thing on the 3 daily. It looks like as well. Both of those have the etchings of a decent one, but I need to see a breakage of structure. There's certainly a lot of dominoes in place right now, but I need to see that last domino get ticked over before I start to take action myself. Although, would I really be trading this right now? I mean, I don't really have a major proclivity to be trading this right now, to be honest with you. I am looking for the next long-term setup. That's what I'm really concerned with, as I do still think that long-term Bitcoin likely still has another leg here. Again, for all the reasons that I discussed on the past few videos, and obviously on the long-term video that I uploaded, probably the last one, in that playlist, going over all of the things that I'd be looking for to denote a major macro cycle top, of which we have none of them right now, to be fair, except for the pi cycle top indicator, and we're all going to be eating our words for not believing in that one. Anyways, no, my point is that the three big ones, obviously, looking at weekly HVP, looking at weekly RSI, and then looking at weekly trend. All those things have been really key, especially in conjunction with each other, to call macro cycle tops. And right now we don't have anything that would resemble one from past iterations. Anyways, again, that would be my downside conditions. For what it's worth, though, right now, we actually could move down the upside resolution, we could move down the upside resolution from the range that we had from yesterday. No longer has to be 57,500. Now could be 56,750 right here was our last closing high. It looks like more like 56,500, we'll say. So if we do get a 2 hour or 4 hour total closure above there, and can we actually do this on a 2 hour? 2 hours a little bit higher, $57,000 to be fair. then I would be looking for a move back up towards $60,000. Fulfill the destiny of Bitcoin. No. fulfill the CME gap from last Friday. Of course, that'd be right around that $60,000 region. And then looking at our structure from past I don't know, like the past month or so, we obviously do have some nice overhead resistance. Yep, coming in right around here. And guess where that is? $60,000 as well. Anyways, as it stands right now, there are a few concerning things. I suppose we do have 4-hour hidden bearish divergence right here. Could you argue that that's already played out? Yes, you could certainly argue that's already played out. However, in this case, just like yesterday, looking for the test of the top side resistance, I would now be looking for the test of the bottom side support. So if this, if we put these drawing tools back on over here, I probably would be looking for another drive somewhere a little bit below $55,000. Anywhere between about $54,500 to $54,000 is fair game. But again, this is the area here where I actually start to look at this as an actual break and start to target moves much lower. In this, in the other event that Bitcoin actually takes out the top side resistance right around 57 on a 2-hour or 56.5 on a 4-hour, that's at the point where I would start to look for about a $4,000 move to the upside. So looking pretty damn good there, and this one should be pretty damn simple as far as range trading goes. Anyways, can we come up with any sort of biases for this? Because I'm actually this is one of those times where I'm actually not really seeing too many things line up. Actually, if we go over here to our secondary charts, we can see one thing that I do think is rather profound, or at least somewhat profound here. If we go to the 12-hour Stokes, we can see that all of the major lows that we've been having ever since December of last year, the year 2020, and actually we could even go a little bit further back than that, September 2020 that is, have all been coming in this region right here on our 12-hour Stokes. Now, all of these have been major lows, to be fair. We're talking about this September low right here, we're talking about this December low right here, we're talking about this January low right here, this March low right here, this late March low right here again, and then once again we're kind of testing this trend line. This is simultaneously coming alongside of what we looked at yesterday with the 12-hour Stokes on regular spot price action, which do have a nice regression coming in from our February lows over here and kind of wedging themselves into this major range, of course. But what I do like about this is that it is actually rejecting the bearish control zone in this case and pointed back up. However, this is actually coming at the behest, or contrary at least, to the short-term timeframes. 4-hour technically up right now, to be fair. However, that is going to be the lone wolf for right now. We do see 3-hour Stokes looking like it might even be a rejection of the bearish control zone, which I really don't like. Bi-hourly already turning down, and hourly is certainly down as well, although it's going to be meeting a trend line on the other side right now. So fair enough. That would be kind of the I suppose the lower term timeframes in their essence right now, as we do see DMI really starting to rear its head a little bit. We see an infant signal over here on the 4-hour. I think the 3 already has one as well. Yes, it does. Bi-hourly has one as well, and hourly certainly has one. And then that is combined with, of course, a daily, which actually did print one yesterday as well, as we do see the ADX continues to strengthen. However, the DMI minus is not having a positive slope. So do I favor a signal like that? No, I do not actually. And we also do see a bearish MACD cross right there, but that's not, well, that did come with the break of the 20 simple. And yes, we did get the test of 55. So I want to present all sides here, and that'll give you my sort of take on this one. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for yourself, and you obviously make the decision for yourself because you are most likely and capable of doing such. But yeah, looking at this right here, looking at the green 55 exponential average, this one has been a nice basing action for all of those mega dumps on Bitcoin going back to basically September, October as well. So you can see over here, Bitcoin loves to ride it on these nice mega girthy runs to the upside. You'd maybe even consider this one a test over here, although not as much. Certainly a test right here, and 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 once again in our current posturing right here. So I really wouldn't mind another wick down to the bottom side Toronto band. Guess where that is? $54,000. That is obviously correlated with the bottom side of the short-term, medium-term timeframes right now. However, until we actually break this, I mean, it's been working for long enough, I suppose. But more importantly, with all of this, again, at the end of the day, ranges matter most for myself right now. And if Bitcoin does break the bottom side of that range, I will be looking for a move to, basically just below $50,000 overall. Very likely a bounce there, and probably continuation down to the 21 exponential average on the weekly over here, of which that's been a nice long-term generational support for these boolah-ish markets. I mean, just kind of repeating the same shit that we've been talking about for the past half year to a year now, but it does deserve mention that it is right around that region. Now, for myself, I have specific rules when it comes to trading that I always, when in doubt, don't trade for the most part. But if I see a lot of competing signals, I just won't trade off them. But more importantly, if I do have to make a call in these sorts of situations, I'm always going to go with the higher term time frame trend. So in Bitcoin's case, that means daily plus. And well, the good thing about the daily plus is that all timeframes daily and above do still have an uptrend. Even the 12 hour, I believe, still has an uptrend too. Let's just double check that. Yeah, technically it still does have it right here. However, that can very easily get undone if we do break the bottom side of the range, of course. Anyways, in this case, do I think that Bitcoin has a short-term downside move? Yes, I do. Simultaneously, I do think that Bitcoin, if I had to call it, probably does bounce off that once again. How high does the bounce get? I don't think, I think filling out this triangle a little bit more is certainly not out of the question. Goddamn triangles at it again. But in this case, it's pretty well documented, pretty obvious. And that would be your bearish redistribution if you are looking at this as in the process of reversing right now. And I believe that the 4 hour is actually nearly going to get a death cross. Well, I wouldn't say nearly going to get a death cross. It's nowhere near getting a death cross. Sorry, I apologize. It's nowhere fucking near. And this would certainly not even be a perfect one to begin with. So I would probably disregard, especially as all higher term time frames seem to disagree with that right now. Anyways, okay, cool. So let's go take a look at some of the altcoins right now, because I think that they're being a little more obvious. And most importantly, with that, if we are going to look at some altcoins, which I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance first, if the altcoins are showing like a specific set of behavior in general, I'm going to go with that as well, because this market does mostly move together. And when we look at this Bitcoin dominance over here, we do see that it's continuation. We even have new lows below the last macro low, or sorry, it's not the last macro low, but a couple macro lows ago, April 2019 actually. So this one has a free ride down now, all the way down to 50, just below 50%. I'm talking about 49.5, about 49.5 region. Now, of course, these numbers are getting really fucking aggressive down here, so it really wouldn't take too much to get a major bounce in this, but at least for now, I do remain bullish on altcoin Bitcoin pairings. To be fair, let's go check out kind of the one like index of them all. Is kind of what I refer to it as Ethereum Bitcoin pairing right here. And what do you know? Yes, looking bullish. We do have a reversal on all time frames up to a weekly. We got our first higher low in on the weekly in a very long time. And if this one does print a higher high, I'm gonna look for this one to rip up towards 6 million satoshis, maybe even more than that over time. I mean, it's looking pretty damn good here. This is a very good setup, and we even have a golden cross in the weekly, maybe not this week, but very likely next week confirmed, possibly even this week confirmed as well. Weekly RSI really fucking strong here. Weekly TSI really fucking strong here. Yeah, I'm bullish on this, and I do think that it's going to break that prior high, and I do think that it's going to go for a major run right here. But let's look at Ethereum versus US dollar, and what are we looking at right here? Looks good. Daily, 2-day, 3-day, all bouncing off of all the low period moving averages right there. I'm never going to hate that. Short term, does it have a little bit of downside? Perhaps yes. Could easily come back down to 2200. However, this one actually breaking a little bit of the range high right there, although we could just make a new range, obviously, which is really going to be more like this. But what we can do now is that we actually have a bit of a we have a bit of a short-term bias buster right here. So that means that if we do break this 2270-ish region, I would be looking for a move down to about 2200-ish region. And I'm curious what momentum offset is other than TSI and RSI stay right here. RSI is actually okay, especially if we can get back above the bullish bias zone. And 4-hour RSI is neutralish to me, not really giving me any any natural proclivity one way or the other. Let's go over here to Ethereum and see what it looks like on this chart. Not really giving us much either. All of that is a weekly. Let's go to a daily. Daily Stokes down, daily DMI ADX, no signal, daily MACD, technically a cross down, but price action moving up. That's typically a bullish reset, so I do quite like that as well. But again, we're not seeing anything like super obvious here, which I typically don't like. So for myself, looking at this right here, if I did have to call direction, yes, it would be up. However, we do have a pretty damn obvious range here too. Let's say that this 12-hour closes something like this, $2,300. We could use this as a doji dildo for continuation points on both sides, meaning that if Ethereum does take out the low side of this or the high side of this on the next one after the next closure in 6 hours and 48 minutes and 28 seconds, then I would be looking for that next sort of big move here outside of the range. In this case, to the upside, if we do take out 2361 to the upside, I would be looking at another run towards the prior high, basically $2,500. And at that point, you got to be looking at, just continuation of trend long term to the upside, still looking at those $3,000 plus targets. By the same token, to the downside below 2270 low, then I would be looking for a move back down all the way over here, maybe even all the way back down towards certainly 2200, but I actually 2100 wouldn't be out of the question either. It very likely does fall back in a range back down around here. Now, do we see anything else that's obvious here? Okay, so here we go. We got finally fucking something, man. Daily RSI giving us a little bit of hidden bullish divergence. Daily TSI, no signal, and not going to give us signal anytime soon. What about 12-hour here? Yep, same hidden bullish evidence. I do like that. What do we need on the TSI 2667? That's probably not happening today. That would be new all-time highs as well. What about the buy daily? Same thing actually. Well, not necessarily the same thing, but more importantly, I do like how it's riding all, above all major moving averages right there. But I'm actually not getting a whole hell, I would certainly be leaning a lot more up to the upside on this chart as well. If I did call things right now, do I think that it pops back up towards 2,500-ish region? Very likely, yes. But again, if Bitcoin decides to shit the bed here, everything's going to follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin leads for the most part, especially if it breaks down too. Let's see what Litecoin says today. Litecoin put in a little bit of a sloppy inverted Quasimodo right there, technically speaking. However, do I trust this? It's formation on a fucking 4-hour. Absolutely goddamn not. Jesus Christ, man. Being a pattern trader is bad enough, but doing that, oh man, asking for a dildo shish kebab in your life. Looking at the daily right here for Litecoin, looks very similar to Ethereum, but not as strong. 2-day, 3-day, same shit. I'm not getting much from this, to be honest with you. Let's see, weekly still upside angled. Do have to respect the rising wick condition right there. Weekly RSI still bullish. Weekly TSI about to get across the upside as well. Yeah, if I did have call direction on this one, I do think that it has another leg to the upside actually. And this one's pretty damn easy as well for looking for a downside bias buster. Just yesterday's low would be good enough for me. 234.93 would be the magical number for me getting a little bit more bearish on this one, looking for a move back down somewhere around $200 actually. Anyways, until that condition is met, I suppose I would be cautiously bullish. XRP looks to me like it's setting a higher low right here. Not bad at all. We do see that it actually technically won't have hidden bullish evidence there, but let's see what it has on a 12-hour. It does. Hey, not bad. A little bit of that phantom div right there too. I'd have to be looking for a move back up to north of 160 for XRP short, medium term. What about the weekly? Weekly still okay too. I respect it as long as it has those rising wicks. That does seem to be crypto's one of those crypto related things that seems to work, especially on those higher term timeframes. And looking at the 4-hour right here, looks like it actually might even break the trend. Might even break this down right here. And yeah, if I did have to lean towards one side, I'd be having a target towards about 160 and then probably 175-ish region. Does look okay here from a momentum oscillator perspective. So again, kind of cutting hairs right now, but it does seem like there's a little more consensus amongst the market for more upside rather than downside. But again, if Bitcoin breaks the bottom side of that range, I will switch around. I will certainly switch around, to be fair. Let's go check out Link as well. If Bitcoin's gonna be doing well, I very much expect Link to be doing as well. And here's the funny thing: Link looks extremely similar to Bitcoin in the short-term time frames, printing a series of higher lows, obviously. And having a very obvious downside range as well. $34.50 right here would be my continuation point, or not necessarily a continuation point. I need to see a closure below there, but that would be breakdown area, producing targets back down, to low $30, like I'm talking 30 to 31. But when we go to the higher term timeframes, once again, I'm not bearish on this, to be honest. Looking at it daily, this daily's okay. If this thing came back down to 35 3/4, I'd look at that as an opportunity on the first pass. Ultimately, this one looks a little more like on the higher term timeframes that it wants to pop back up towards that $40 plus region. Looking at 2-day, 3-day, still okay. Not the picture of health and fitness, though, which you would expect from something like Link, which has been taking the reins of the market a lot of times in this past year. But looking at 12-hour daily, we do see, actually, no, not on the daily, but on the 12-hour, we do have hidden bullish divergence, which I do like as well. Not really getting much from the 4-hour as well. So it is looking like most things do agree with the upside if push came to shove. But let's go check out traditional markets and see what that's going to be showing right now. Okay, NASDAQ planning to pull back a little bit more, actually a little bit more than what I would have expected here. So I did say yesterday, pull back down to about 13,800 likely. We did meet that target, but now we've actually smashed through that target. So what now, sir? What now? We're actually going to see daily TSI potentially turn to the downside. If that does happen, extension to the 21 on the daily is very, very likely here. 13,600-ish regions where I'd be looking towards. Looking at the short-term timeframes over here. Does it play out a bounce before then? Good morning, sir. Does it play out a bounce before then? Very, very easily could. I mean, it wouldn't be asking for too much here, but we're talking about a daily right now. And the daily does seem like it wants a little bit of downside. Overall, though, would it be bearish on this? Nope, I would not be bearish on this. Weekly still looks completely fine to me. Long term, but if this thing comes back down at a range, I would be looking for, and by coming back down at a range, I mean breaking the 21 to the downside, which is 13.6. I would be looking for extension back down to the low side of the range. I'm talking about 13.2 to 13, basically low $13,000. but I'd still be looking for another low structure to be put in there. Again, I'm not bearish on this. Let's actually look at the monthly really quick here too. Yeah, this is looking pretty damn good to me for continuation overall. I'm not bearish on that. So likely I'd be looking at that next down as an opportunity, if anything. See what SPY futures say. SPY futures doing the same thing. We had a target yesterday right around 41.20. We met that target. Now a little bit below, about $3 below, it looks like. What would I say now, however? Do I think this one's setting up for a little bit of a short-term bounce here? Could very easily have a short-term bounce back up to like 41.40-ish region, but that's not really giving us too much. Let's see what the weekly says. Weekly's a bit of a backfill. You know what? I'm gonna look for a bounce there, if anything. Monthly still continuation as well. Can't hate that. Monthly RSI really fucking good, and we are only just a little bit less than 10 days away from the end of the month here. So yeah, I will favor long-term continuation to the upside when push comes to shove. And what about Dow Jones futures? This one getting shellacked a little bit more. We did a target down to the 10 simple, right around 33,650, 33.7. That was obviously met. I'd probably extend this a little bit more down to the 21, 33,400-ish region. Look for bounces around there. 4 looks a little more like continuation in this case. So I'm a little bit concerned to see that traditional markets are not lining up specifically with Bitcoin land right now, as usually you want to see those things moving together. But you know, when we look at most of cryptocurrencies, it does seem like there is a bit more of a consensus for some upside here. Again, wrapping up Bitcoin extremely short term. I actually do think that has a little more downside here. Probably does swipe around the downside of the range. Anywhere around $54,000 or a little bit above $54,000 is fair game right there. I'd very likely be looking for another bounce along that level too. I mean, even if you are bearish and you're looking at this side of the descending triangle, it's very likely to bounce upon this level once again, and then potentially put another lower high right around $56,000. That's if you're bearish. Now, the most obvious thing to make me short-term, medium-term, and long-term bullish once again would be Bitcoin taking out this last lower high right here, 56,500, and then I would be targeting moves back up to $60,000. Very likely a pushback somewhere around $60,000. Then we'll come back to it tomorrow, and then to the downside again, same territory. You know, if you want to be ultra conservative, I'd say 53,500 would be the level to watch right here. Anywhere below there, and then yes, I would start to look for, you know, the next major downside move. Bounces along the way. Obviously, classic area would be right around your last prior low, March 25th lows at about $51,000, but again, need to see proof, not promises here. Now, oh fuck, I forgot to mention it. I won't be on live stream later today. I have a little bit of a trip planned, so I am going to be actually offline a bit. So if you're trying to contact me, I'll do my best to get back to you, but it could be that it either comes very much later today or tomorrow. Anyways, with that said, I want to wish you well once again. Take care and see you soon.